In this segment, we are going to talk about fear, and why it is important to understand our own fears. We will take a look at what fear is, and how it manifests itself. We'll also look at the costs of fear, the negative impact it has on our life. Finally, we'll look at some of the strategies we can use to overcome our own fears. Firstly, what is fear? Fear is a primal and pervasive emotion that has been intertwined with the human experience since the dawn of civilization. It is a powerful force that shapes our thoughts, behaviors, and interactions with the world around us. Despite its universal presence, fear remains a complex phenomenon that warrants careful examination. At its core, fear is an adaptive response that evolved to protect organisms from potential threats to their survival. It is part of the body's innate alarm system, triggering physiological, cognitive, and behavioral changes in response to perceived danger. Fear serves a vital function by alerting us to potential risks, and mobilizing our resources to either confront or avoid threats. However, fear can also become maladaptive when it is excessive, irrational, or disproportionate to the actual level of danger present. The experience of fear is highly subjective and can vary widely from person to person. What one individual finds terrifying, another may perceive as trivial or inconsequential. This variability underscores the importance of understanding our own fears and the unique factors that contribute to their development and expression. Why is it important to understand our own fears? Understanding our own fears is essential for several reasons. Firstly, it fosters self-awareness by illuminating the underlying thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that drive our fear responses. By gaining insight into the roots of our fears, we can begin to unravel their grip on our psyche and develop more effective strategies for managing them. Secondly, understanding our fears enables us to identify the specific barriers that hinder our personal growth and fulfillment. Whether it is fear of failure, rejection, uncertainty, or the unknown, acknowledging these barriers is the first step toward overcoming them and realizing our full potential. Furthermore, understanding our fears empowers us to confront them head-on and reclaim control over our lives. Instead of allowing fear to dictate our choices and limit our experiences, we can develop resilience, courage, and confidence in the face of adversity. In addition, fear often masks our true desires and aspirations. By confronting our fears, we can uncover our authentic selves, the person we truly want to be. This authenticity forms the foundation for personal transformation, enabling us to align our actions with our values and live more fulfilling lives. Next, how do we know when we are fearful? In other words, how does fear manifest itself? Fear manifests in a myriad of ways, encompassing both psychological and physiological dimensions. On a psychological level, fear may manifest as anxiety, apprehension, dread, or panic. These emotional responses can range from mild unease to overwhelming terror, depending on the perceived threat and individual coping mechanisms. Physiologically, fear triggers a cascade of changes in the body known as the fight or flight response. This response involves the release of stress hormones such as adrenaline, which increases heart rate, boosts energy levels, and sharpens focus in preparation for immediate action. Other physical symptoms of fear may include sweating, trembling, muscle tension, gastrointestinal discomfort, and dizziness. In addition to these immediate reactions, fear can also lead to long-term psychological consequences such as chronic anxiety, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other anxiety-related conditions. These manifestations of fear can significantly impair an individual's quality of life, functioning, and overall well-being. Our fear costs us dearly, especially when we allow it to run unchecked in our life. The costs of fear are many, affecting individuals, communities, and society as a whole. Firstly, fear can take a toll on mental health, contributing to the development of anxiety disorders, depression, and other related conditions. Prolonged exposure to fear and stress can exacerbate existing mental health problems and diminish resilience over time. Physically, fear can have adverse effects on physical health, including increased risk of cardiovascular disease, weakened immune function, gastrointestinal problems, insomnia, and other stress-related conditions. The physiological responses to fear, such as elevated heart rate and blood pressure, can also strain the body's systems and contribute to long-term health problems. Moreover, fear can hinder personal growth and fulfillment by acting as a barrier to taking risks, pursuing goals, or stepping out of one's comfort zone. When fear dominates our thoughts and behaviors, it can prevent us from realizing our full potential and embracing new opportunities for learning and self-improvement. Fear also has social and economic costs, contributing to social division, conflict, and economic instability. When fear drives prejudice, discrimination, and hostility toward perceived others or outgroups, it can undermine social cohesion and trust within communities. Additionally, fear can impact consumer behavior, investment decisions, and business operations, affecting economic growth and stability. Since the costs of fear is so much, it is therefore important for us to recognize and acknowledge our fear. Only then can we understand it, face it and manage it effectively, even transforming it into something positive. So, how can we overcome our fear? Despite the profound challenges posed by fear, it is possible to overcome it with perseverance, resilience, and self-awareness. Overcoming fear requires courage and honesty with ourselves. This journey may be painful, and even feels unbearable at times, but it is a worthwhile journey. You will come out on the other side stronger, better and more empowered than you have ever been before. So, let's look at some strategies that we can use to manage and overcome our fear. 1. Identify and understand your fears. Start by identifying the specific fears that are holding you back. Understanding the root causes of your fears can help you develop targeted strategies for overcoming them. This first step requires self-reflection and a good level of self-awareness. Thus, mindfulness practice is an advantage here. Take time for introspection and self-reflection to explore your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Consider situations or circumstances that trigger feelings of discomfort, anxiety, or avoidance. Reflect on past experiences that have left a lasting impact on you, and examine the underlying emotions and beliefs associated with those experiences. Practice mindfulness techniques to cultivate present-moment awareness and non-judgmental observation of your thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness allows you to observe your fears without becoming overwhelmed by them, providing a clearer understanding of their nature and origins. I find journaling to be very useful here, so keep a journal to record your thoughts, feelings, and experiences related to fear. Write freely and without judgment, allowing yourself to explore the depths of your emotions and the underlying reasons behind your fears. Writing can help you gain clarity and insight into your fears by externalizing your thoughts and feelings. 3. Face your fears gradually. Gradually expose yourself to the objects, situations, or activities that trigger fear. Start with small steps, and gradually increase exposure over time as you build confidence. This approach, known as systematic desensitization, can help reduce fear and anxiety gradually. Start by identifying the specific fear or fears that you want to address. It could be fear of heights, social anxiety, fear of public speaking, or any other fear that is holding you back. Then break your fear down into smaller, more manageable steps or levels. For example, if you have a fear of flying, your fear hierarchy might include steps such as looking at pictures of airplanes, visiting an airport, sitting in a stationary airplane, and eventually taking a short flight. In other words, begin with the least intimidating step on your fear hierarchy. Choose a task that causes minimal anxiety, but still challenges you to confront your fear in some way. This could involve simply thinking about the fear, visualizing it, or exposing yourself to a mild version of the fear trigger. Before facing your fear, you can practice relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or mindfulness meditation. These techniques can help reduce physiological arousal and promote a sense of calmness and control. Then gradually expose yourself to the fear-inducing stimulus or situation, starting with the lowest level on your fear hierarchy. Take your time and proceed at your own pace, allowing yourself to experience any anxiety or discomfort without trying to suppress it. Focus on staying present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Remind yourself that anxiety is a natural response to facing fears and that it will pass with time. Be patient with yourself, and trust the process of gradual exposure. It's normal to experience setbacks or temporary increases in anxiety as you face your fears, but with persistence and practice, you can gradually build confidence and resilience. Celebrate your progress and accomplishments along the way. Acknowledge your bravery and perseverance, no matter how small the steps may seem. Rewarding yourself for facing your fears can reinforce positive behavior and motivate you to continue moving forward. As you become more comfortable with each step on your fear hierarchy, gradually increase the level of exposure. Move on to more challenging tasks or situations, always pushing yourself slightly outside your comfort zone while still feeling confident in your ability to cope. These are just some of the steps you need to do to face your fear gradually and systematically. Learn and practice relaxation techniques that we mentioned earlier, such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, mindfulness meditation, or visualization. These techniques can help reduce physiological arousal and promote a sense of calmness and control. And don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or mental health professionals. Talking about your fears with supportive individuals can provide perspective, validation, and encouragement. Build resilience by developing coping skills, problem-solving abilities, and adaptive responses to challenges. Focus on building a strong support network, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Set realistic and achievable goals that challenge you without overwhelming you. Break down larger goals into smaller, manageable steps, and celebrate your progress along the way. Success breeds confidence and can help diminish fear over time. Learn from failure. Embrace failure as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than a confirmation of your fears. Recognize that setbacks are a natural part of the learning process and use them as motivation to persevere. Visualize success. Use visualization techniques to imagine yourself successfully overcoming your fears and achieving your goals. Visualizing positive outcomes can help build confidence and reduce anxiety when facing fear-inducing situations. And lastly, practice self-compassion. Be kind and compassionate toward yourself as you work to overcome fear. Recognize that fear is a natural emotion and that it's okay to experience it. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend facing similar challenges. Well, we've covered a lot of ground concerning fear in this segment. To sum it all up, fear is a complex and pervasive emotion that has profound implications for individuals and society. While fear serves a vital function in protecting us from danger, it can also become maladaptive when it impedes our ability to live fully and authentically. By understanding the nature of fear, acknowledging its impact on our lives, and employing effective strategies for managing and overcoming it, we can reclaim control over our thoughts, behaviors, and aspirations. Through perseverance, resilience, and self-awareness, we can transcend the limitations imposed by fear. If you have any comments about this segment, or about fear, or have some questions to ask, feel free to pen them here, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Until next time, live well.